What's going on, guys? Kenny here from 619 Guitars and Gear, and welcome to part 2 of the NK Headless mod project. Basically, in the last part, you saw me disassemble everything. We got all the hardware and the screws and everything organized in my little organizing bin, made sure we didn't lose everything, and got the guitar 100% broken down. In this video, I'm going to tape off the fretboard, and we're going to sand and prep the body and neck to get it ready for what we're going to do to it. And I'm still not going to disclose the theme. I'm going to save that for part 3 because I have a little something planned that's pretty much just going to give it away. It's going to be really fun, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it. I think you'll like it. It's a very popular theme, and I think it's going to look really, really good. So basically, I started off with just sanding the neck, and I used just a little vibrating sander with 220 grit sandpaper on there. I didn't want to use like an oscillating sander just because I didn't want to take too much material off the neck. I just really wanted to get the clear coat that was on it and the blue stain. The blue stain looked good, but I just, underneath the stain was some really nice flaming, and I think with like a dark roasted stain or something along that lines, it will just make that flame really, really pop, and it will look really good. It will just fit the theme of the guitar a lot better. Even though the blue did fit the way, you know, the guitar came from the factory, it just wasn't my favorite. So we basically just got all the clear off, and then the sander I used kind of went into a point, so it was nice and easy to get into all those tight spaces. Some spots the stain was so soaked in that it was kind of hard to get off, but we ended up doing it with no problems. I had to kind of get a razor blade in some spots and do some scraping and then sand it to smooth it out, but it turned out absolutely fine. Kept blowing the sandpaper off and the neck as we went to unclog the sandpaper. And then we moved on to the body. With the body, I stepped down to 180 grit just because the clear on the back of the body was a little bit thicker. Something that always drove me nuts with the back of this body is the fact that the two pieces of, I believe it's ash, are two different shades, and I don't know why, maybe I'm just too picky, but it kind of really drives me nuts. And basically the way I'm going to stain it, it's going to be all one color, so it's going to look really good. Basically just sanded off all the clear, and you can tell the difference in the color of the dust when you get down to the wood, and you can smell it too. It's a different smell. You can smell the wood. So then we moved to the front. Same thing. The clear was a little bit thicker, so we stuck with the 180 grit, blowing the sandpaper off as we went and blowing the dust off the body. It just keeps everything, keeps the sandpaper nice and aggressive. It doesn't clog up. And now the body had a real nice poplar burl top on it, and it was, you know, stained purple with the blue burst, and this one didn't have the little poplar holes filled in, so I didn't want to sand the whole top completely off because it's probably about 1 millimeter thick, and I just didn't want to take that much material off the body. And basically what I was planning on doing was just getting the color off, and then I was going to go in with some CA glue and just fill in all the holes, because the face of the body is going to be one solid color, which is going to be paint, and then I believe the sides and the back of the body to fit the theme that we're going along with is going to be stain, most likely. So we pretty much got all the color off. I was actually really surprised with the quality of this veneer. It was really, really nice, even though it had the holes in it. But I mean, it was a pretty nice veneer, you know, as you saw in my previous project with the Headless, the veneer I put on, that was a great veneer. And that was like a sort of like a quilted maple veneer. This one is poplar burl, same thickness, so basically the same thing. As you can see, there's the blue outline that was taped off on the guitar, so we're just sanding that off. And basically I knew I was down to the wood. Once the blue would disappear, I knew I was down to the wood, because obviously you got the stain and then it's cleared over that. So I knew once I would get through the clear and then the blue was gone, that I was down to the wood. And like I said, you can tell the difference in the color of the dust, and you can tell the difference in the smell of the dust too when you get down to the wood. So basically here you can see how nice the top is. Obviously there's some purple you can see still soaked into different pores of the veneer, but a really nice top. I was actually pretty surprised. Now there was a lot of holes and stuff in it, but like I said, I'm going to end up filling them in with CA glue. And so my idea with this ash body is I always liked this whole sandblasting thing that people are doing now. And with my theme that I'm not going to disclose yet, it's going to basically fit perfect. And I had the idea to throw it in my sandblaster, sandblast out the wood grain so we can get it really nice and dug out, and then we're gonna do a base and then fill in the wood grain with a different color to fit the theme that I'm still not gonna disclose yet. Haha. But yeah, threw it in the sandblaster, and here's a good view. You can see the colors of the two-piece body, how it didn't match, and drove me nuts like I said before. So yeah, I threw it in the blaster. I was using really fine grit aluminum oxide. That's what I had in there from when I used to do some Cerakote work, and I didn't want to switch it out. It worked fine. It wasn't too aggressive, so it's basically what I wanted. It was just aggressive enough to basically etch out the wood grain, and there was still some clear in some spots that I couldn't get to with the sander, so the sandblaster basically worked perfect with blasting that all out. And yeah, it really turned out really good. I always like, Jackson has that model where it's black with the wood grain is filled in with the green. It's like the neon green. It looks really good because they sandblast out the wood grain and it etches it out, and then they fill it in with like a green filler or paint or whatever they use. So we're basically going to do the same idea for the theme that we're going with. And I think it's going to turn out really good, honestly. I'm really excited to try it. The idea I have in my head, if it works out, it's going to be really cool. And yeah, you can kind of see, this was after the first run. I did it 2 times, but you can really see how much it dug out the wood grain. And it's really not too much. It was basically just perfect. So once I put my base color on the sides and back, I think it's going to really look good. Once I fill in that wood grain, it's going to stick out and it's going to pop and it's going to look amazing. So I'm super excited about that. Another view, you can see the complete color difference in the two-piece body. I don't know why. It just literally drove me nuts every time I looked at it. I was like, why couldn't they just use 2 pieces of wood that were the same, or like at least stain them to be the same or something? But whatever. I mean, it is a cheap cheap Headless. So I do love this guitar though, and that's why I really wanted to give it some love and make it look really good. But you can see the etching from the sandblaster turned out really good. I can't wait to disclose the theme with you guys. I'm really excited for this project. And then here you can see that I just filled in all the little holes in the veneer, the little burl holes. I just filled them in with some CA glue, and we're gonna scrape them and sand them smooth. So we'll save that for the next video, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.